Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Sports. And some breaking news. Andy Farrell has officially confirmed his British and Irish Lions coaching staff with a total of 5 assistant coaches across 3 different unions being named. Just Wales, who don't have a representative, which makes sense. I mean, they've not had a particularly good time, and their coaching staff is coming and going faster than they can keep count, really, to be honest. So no real surprises there, but really good, I think, to see that whilst there was always going to be an Irish dominated coaching staff, but there is representation from Scotland, there is representation from England as well, and not too many sort of surprises, I don't think, really, but a nice sort of collection of coaches. And the big thing when it comes to British and Irish Lions is alignment. This is always the biggest challenge when it comes to getting a touring side together and going and getting a result. Now, there's some really positive signs coming out of Australia if you look at Super Rugby, specific so far this year. The Australian teams are playing really well. Lots of players are really putting their hands up, and you can almost get that kind of buzz that it's a British and Irish Lions year. That, you've got a bunch of players who are desperate to go and be involved in an historic tour, because you only get to play the British and Irish Lions once, usually, in your career. There are very few people who get to play them twice because they only tour the same country once every 12 years. And so, the chance of you being involved, you have to be at a really young part of your career. Your best chance is basically playing them as, in a Super Rugby side or as your local side. And then, 12 years down the line, potentially representing your national side and the likes of that. To represent them for your national side twice is very impressive, and very few have done that. But I think that we're going to see a nice tour, because I think the Australian sides are starting to get a lot better. Hopefully we'll see the improvement, and hopefully Joe Schmidt can pull off something really, really cool. So this is the coaching staff, and a pretty large version of Bill, the British and Irish Lions mascot there, being held by Andy Farrell. And if you go through them, it is John Dalziel from Scotland, Simon Easterby from Ireland, John Fogarty from Ireland, Andrew Goodman from Ireland as well from Irish setup, not Irish himself, and then Richard Wigglesworth from England complete the different coaches. We're going to go through every single different coach, so talk a little bit about what their role is, what their background is, and kind of what we can expect from them. But I think that the main thing from an Andy Farrell point of view is consistency, and continuity. Now, he wants to implement a game plan and a culture onto the team. He needs assistants to do it, and having somebody like Simon Easterby, who's been his assistant coach, sort of second in command, and currently first in command when it comes to Ireland, was always going to be vital for him, because you need as many people as possible aligned in, to make sure that you can sort of communicate your vision and the likes of that. David Nakafura, by the way, who was the performance manager with Ireland and West Scotland as well, is the Lions performance manager, and this also includes the likes of Alan Walters and Vinnie Haymond, who are the sort of strength and conditioning and analysis people. So that kind of sort of puts together the entire team. So it is all confirmed. The only thing now left really is to talk about the players themselves. So speaking on the appointment, Andy Farrell said, "This is a special day for the British and Irish Lions and our 5 new assistant coaches who came together yesterday for the very first time." He said, "Putting together a Lions coach team is an honor and a privilege, and the 5 phone calls made to this group of coaches remind you just how special and unique it is." We said this coaching group has versatility and interchangeable in their skill set, which is a vital asset to have on the Lions tour. I think it's a very important point. It's not about having a forwards coach that is just a forwards coach, just works with his forwards. It's not about having a purely attack coach and all he does is work with the backline in terms of how they attack. It's about understanding different aspects of the game, because you've now got to sort of speak with your defensive orientated coach and your attack coach and your set piece coach, and you say, well, how do we integrate our different ideas? And it's such an interesting sort of scenario where you have to sort of be able to lean on the different sort of pillars, but almost have to always be able to sacrifice maybe certain parts of what you believe has to happen to be able to incorporate different aspects from sort of the different coaches and the likes of that. So let's get into the coaches, shall we? We all know about Andy Farrell, and it is actually a second opportunity to tour with the side. He was part of that side back in 2000 and I want to say it was 2017, 17? Yeah, 17. As the was no 2012 tour, where he was the defense coach. 2018, that's what it was. 2018 was when he went to Australia for the first time. So I'm just shaking my dates here. and his British and Irish Lions was one game. 2017. I'm right. 2017. Yeah, 2017 when he was 2017 and 2013. That's why I'm getting confused because it was both, and I had it written down somewhere and I couldn't find it. So yeah, he's been there on 2 occasions as defense coach, and now he's going as sort of the head coach. And we'll start with Andrew Goodman, shall we? Who is part of the Irish Rugby Football Union setup. He is a New Zealander, and he joined Ireland back in last summer, based last year. He was previously at Leinster for sort of 2 years and played with Leinster previously before sort of adding. So he actually coached in Super Rugby originally and did some stints over there, including Crusaders, before moving over and was actually part of Samoa's World Cup squad in 2023 in terms of their coaching side. He said as follows: he said, when Andy phoned, I was silent for about 30 seconds and he even asked if I was still there. I was shocked, excited, all the emotions. It was special calling my family back home in New Zealand. So yeah, I mean, it's always interesting when you listen to the sort of the reactions, and it kind of reminds you how big these British and Irish Lions tours are. That for coaches as well as the players, it's not just for the players the biggest honor. For coaches, this is the height of your coaching career. Some of these coaches, for example, might not be head coaches in their career, but they, maybe the best they'll ever get is an assistant coach in British and Irish Lions, and that is a phenomenal achievement. And this is why you see head coaches taking on roles as different coaches. As I said, Andy Farrell was defensive coach 2013, 2017. We had Gregor Townsend who was the attack coach. Despite the fact that he was a head coach of a nation, you'll happily accept an assistant role at the British and Irish Lions. You then got the sole Scottish representative, which is John Dalziel, and he's been involved in the Scottish setup for quite a long time. He is the forwards coach, and he basically sort of came through the Scottish setup. He was with Glasgow Warriors, and he's also the head coach of the Scotland 20s, has been the head coach of the Sevens side as well. He's been at Scotland for about 4 or 5 years now. He played Sevens, for example, and obviously as 15s, and he said the following. He said, being selected as an assistant coach for the British and Irish Lions is the pinnacle for any coach, and is something I'm hugely honoured about. It's a real pinch yourself moment. He said, I've heard lots of stories about the Lions and grew up watching the tours and documentaries. This will be more intense than anything I've ever experienced. Given the frequency and importance of the games, it's a massively exciting opportunity. So again, it just sort of emphasizes how almost surprised that all of these guys are that they actually got the call up itself. Then we have got John Fogarty, who is the scrum coach of Ireland and is responsible for one of the best scrums in the world, really. That Irish front row has always been, one of the best in the world. Tyke Furlong, what he's done with Andrew Porter, although Andrew Porter is, lots of people talking about the fact that maybe he's being found out now. He was a hooker when he was played back in his day, and he's been with Andy Farrell for quite a while. He became an elite player development officer with the RFU for 4 years after retiring, and he became the National Academy Forwards coach in July, after being the scrum coach for Leinster for 5 years. And then he sort of joined the Irish setup. So very, very talented. And again, from a scrum point of view, you're not going to be working with players that you've worked with a lot before, because you might have completely different front rows. And again, it's about that alignment and how do you bring players together and make sure you can sort of get the best out of the teams themselves. We have then got the sole representative from RFU, which is Richard Wigglesworth. It is going to be his first British and Irish Lions tour. He's a former England scrum off. And, very cool story saying that when he got the call, he was back at the garden with his 5-year-old daughter, and he actually had to quieten her down whilst he took the call himself to accept. And, I mean, interesting one. Lots of people talked about the fact that I don't think we're ever going to really see like Steve Borthwick, for example, come and take over or be part of the coaching staff. So Richard Wigglesworth was rumored that he was going to be involved, and they were basically saying that he was probably going to be the only one involved. But so he's the attack coach of England, and will be working, I think, a lot with Andrew Goodman in terms of creating the best possible attacking safe for the British and Irish Lions. And then finally, doesn't need much introduction, but Simon Easterby, has been at behind Andy Farrell for many years now. He actually played twice for the British and Irish Lions back in 2005, again in their tour of New Zealand. And he's been part of the Irish setup for a long time as their defence coach. So he'll pretty much lead up the defence with the likes of, I think, obviously will work very much alongside the likes of a John Dalziel in terms of the forwards coach. But basically, in terms of what you sort of expect the roles to kind of be, attack coach, attack will be sort of guided by Richard Wigglesworth and Andrew Goodman. John Fogarty will work on the scrum. Simon Easterby and Andy Farrell will basically be the defensive sort of orientated coaches, you'd imagine. And then you've got John Dalziel who'll deal with the forwards. So that is your British and Irish Lions sort of coaching staff. And not too many surprises. The squad itself will be named on the 8th of May. We'll obviously be live doing that, and we sort of break that squad down. But let me know what you think of the coaching staff down in the comments below. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steve. I'll chat to you soon.